Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, dear colleagues, dear friends, good afternoon, bonjour. I am Mathieu Leporini, the Science and Higher Education Attaché at the Institut Français, and I would like to welcome all of you this afternoon for this event. This first part will be dedicated to the opening session, and then there will be the panel discussion with our artists. This event has been made possible thanks to a lot of persons and institutions, and I would like to briefly thank all of them. More specifically, first, all our artists and moderator, the director of the museum. Thank you so much, all of you being here today, and thank also the HAM, the Helsinki Art Museum, for and help in hosting this event today. I would like to thank also all the team of the HAM behind, the Institut Français in Paris as well, and of course all my colleagues from the Institut Français in Helsinki. I would like also to encourage the audience to perhaps comment and participate actively to today's event via Twitter with the hashtag NDIHelsinki18. La Nuit des Idées, the Night of Ideas, is an international cultural event organized by Institut Français. The event first saw light in Paris in 2016. This year, during one night, tonight, this afternoon and tonight, more than 100 events are organized in 70 countries and 100 cities worldwide under the same theme, Power to Imagination. This theme will be explored in all its variety by artists, experts, journalists, and researchers. Most of the events are live streamed to allow people all around the world to follow the discussion during the night. And for our event in Helsinki, I would like to thank in particular Metropolia University and their teams for helping us in the webcasting of our event. Thank you very much. In Helsinki, the Night of Ideas from this afternoon 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. tonight is built by the Institut Français as a free itinerant journey at the heart of the city, where the topic Power to Imagination will be explored thanks to 4 different angles and partners. Now, the power to imagination and the process of artistic creation here at the HAM will allow artists from different horizons and fields to tell you about their creative process, from the beginning of their reflection to the completed work, go through each step of their artistic creation. This discussion will aim also at studying how imagination works in the context of artistic creation. The panel discussion will also come with a screening of Eero Nelimarkka, per aspera ed astra, a documentary about the Finnish painter directed by his granddaughter Eero Nelimarkka, who have the pleasure to be here also today. Thank you very much, Eero. And after the discussion, a guided tour of the exhibition dedicated to Eero Nelimarkka will be also offered in Finnish by the HAM. Thank you very much again for that. So 4 events at the heart of the city, with in total 17 renowned speakers, artists, moderators, to all jointly share ideas and artistic performances. And I would like again to deeply thank all of them, the partners, the speakers, the artists, the sponsors for their very important support and help in co-organizing with the Institut Français in Helsinki this worldwide event. I am now delighted to introduce you to Maija Taninen-Mattila, Director of the Helsinki Art Museum. Thank you.
So much and welcome everyone to HAM this evening. It's my great pleasure to have you all here and to be hosting as one of the organizers of this event. We have a very tight schedule, so we have a lot to hear and a lot to see. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our first artist guests, Eero Nelimarkka. Rita is an artist, a document producer, and she works in different mediums, and also is the chairman of the Nelimarkka Foundation, because in addition to having 3 live artists here tonight. We have one artist, Eero Nelimarkka, whom you will also have an opportunity to get acquainted with through a film by Riitta Nelimarkka, which will be screened here tonight, and also by having an opportunity to see the exhibition which is on display here at HAM. But Riitta, your take on a very big and quite lofty theme that we have, the role of imagination in the context of your artistic creation. Please.
Happily. Bonsoir. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. So, shortly, I'm happy that this is. I have the possibility to be not objective but subjective because the title is very difficult. What are the stairs? Because I can't see any stairs in my so-called creative process, but I say it right away. I see it as a ball, because it consists of atoms of different kind, imagination, intelligence, perhaps, and subconscious, unconscious things, and so on, and they are there in the space, and which is quite essential anyway. That it has limit, it has a cover, it's a ball, it's not the whole space, because then if it were, it would have been it were craziness, and so we are too far from creativeness, because you can't govern it. You are not the boss if you get crazy about your imagination. So there are certain elements in this creativeness, and point some titles: imagination, and I have here plenty of words, but I don't take them from there. Okay, I take it this way. In my work, I use my dreams. I use my speediness. I use all what I experience in life, people's reactions on me, discussions, dialogues. They're very, very important. And then I work quickly. But what is important, I leave the work. Let me. Okay, I leave them. So in the quickness and variations and flexibility, random, I just throw titles to you, and then ruleness. You leave the rules and you use your, this is important, you use your own imagination. You don't use the contemporary imagination. Those, for me, it's important. You don't swim in the those seas which are known. I try to use new atoms which at first sight they might look terrible and somehow you can't speak, you can't say aloud what those things are, but then you just approve them and write them down, and there's a risk, of course, that those ideas are too terrible for people, the most of the people, but if there is one or two, they can be acceptable. So in this at this moment, I would be very happy if you have some kind of question. So because I don't want to read what I have been written. I'm so far from that now. Just a random, you know, maybe you have read the very, very intelligent and inspiring book, suomeksi sattuma ja välttämättömyys, hasard et la nécessité by Jacques Godin, yes, and 1970 was the first edition. It was, and but this is the title is very inspiring. He was the biochemist, but it's as useful for artists. This idea. So you are young and you surely have totally new angles to creativity and to imagination. I would be really delighted if you have one question. Thank you. You. Who? Yes.
Hello, Rita.
Hello.
Can you talk about this moment when you decide to start to work? Because you talk about your dreams and all these things that sort of like are in your head. Can you describe your schedule? Do you do something every day, for example, or you know, it's always very interesting as a concrete starting point, you know.
Understand. The problem is that there is no norms. There is no certain schedule, and my working is not very systematic. So, as I told you, if I get a good idea, which I think is absurd or terrible, so I just put it down, and I try to remember where I have put it down, and when I get up in the morning, maybe I go to swim and I have a very, very nice feeling. So I remember, okay, that I can put that idea to this, maybe to the project which I am just working on, which is I just put it there because I put it to suit. Yes. The other way is that I started I leave the project I'm working with, and I get attracted by this new atom, and I start to do. I start to perhaps make sketches about it, and it depends if I like it, and then I continue. And as I talk about variations and flexibility. I just quickly that I make perhaps woolen relief about these things, or I use some other material. I use wood or plastic. No plastic anymore, but something else. So I work like a kind of tempest, and so because now it's 7 minutes. Yes. Good. Very good.
Rita, thank you. You work like a tempest, and speediness is one of your qualities. Thank you for all the atoms that you've thrown in the air, and I'm sure we'll be able to catch them during this discussion. But next I'd like to introduce Jani Leinonen, artist and activist. Jani, do you have a schedule that is a secret to your creative process? What time do you wake up in the mornings?
Oh, okay. Does that have to do with this? Today, 7:30, but usually very late. but yeah, I'm actually really strict. If I start working, I work almost like 9 to 5, but I also need to realize at some point that I really need the rest too, and I'm trying to stay off work the weekends because my brain doesn't function that well if I don't rest. Back in the days when I was young, I was trying to do it all the time, but it's really exhausting. But actually, the exhaustion is probably what I want to talk about here, because this work, which hasn't been seen by basically anybody yet, maybe my galleries did the studio. It's unfinished, and it will be exhibited in March. Welcome to the opening. I don't have the exact date yet, but it's around 5th of March. But I think the background has something to do with. Okay, let's put. I was thinking I shouldn't talk about political stuff here, but I always end up talking about it. But anyway, here in the West, we tend to think about, for instance, China. That there's a censorship happening there, and the artists and the writers are like treated quite strictly in terms of what they can talk about or write about. But it's a really kind of open system there. Of course, the rules are not really clear most of the time, but anyway, everybody knows it's happening. But here, I think we have this sort of illusion of liberty here, that we think that we can actually talk about anything we want and so on. But there are all these like little, the more political art you do, the more you actually kind of bump into the boundaries of like the censorship of our world, which is not really, it's not explicit censorship. Nobody, there's no board in the government who comes and says to you that no, you can't do this. But it's especially in the art market, it's such a product that in order for me to live and actually survive and get the bread to the table, I have to sell it. So so there's buyers. So of course those people have a really huge influence on what kind of art you can do. And it's kind of nobody says it out loud, but it's pretty clear what you can do and what you should do and what you should not talk about. And it kind of comes directly through, at least to me. So my galleries is constantly saying like, don't do like too political stuff, Like it's not like specifically saying what it means, but anyway, I'm like trying to well, what does it mean? But I don't even know what political is sometimes, and what's sometimes interpreted as too political. It's context, but this work is sort of it's born out of the exhaustion of those limitations. That once you kind of bump into those boundaries enough, you just get tired. And like being a political artist, it's like it's sometimes exhausting, and you get the feedback that's not always nice, and which is also great, but sometimes you just need to take a break out of it. So I think this work, even though it doesn't really that much fall off or go far from the stuff that I've done before, but it's a flower painting. So what it is, you don't really see it that well, because I don't want you to see it that well yet, because you're going to come to the opening and see it. But it's 2 meters high, 160 wide, and it consists of really small flowers, and the ones on the truth, they're dead flowers, and the ones on the other text are alive ones, really colorful. It's an oil painting. I really like it, but so it's been really nice and relaxing to actually paint flowers and not think about too complex things. But how this thing evolved is actually that it's just a sentence, but it's a really kind of a, well, at least for me, because I've been painting it for hundreds and hundreds of hours. So it takes you start thinking about what what are all the things that it can mean? So I kind of, that's actually kind of the system that I have, that I have one idea, then, and I'm just like trying to think all the possible forms that it could take, all the possible kind of concepts that specific sentence could cover. And it's, so the whole exhibition is going to have many artworks in it, probably 6 or 7 pieces, and it's more, this is like the sort of facade work of it. It's the title page of the book, but like in the end, I think the whole concept of the show has been created around these flowers and that sentence, and it's more about this kind of, I don't know, is it political or is it like psychological phenomenon that we have, especially nowadays here in society. For instance, if you look at the Me Too campaign and sort of the way that it's been talked about, there are these kind of two sides of it. There's the truth, and then there's something beautiful. And what the truth is that, you know, people have been raped and harassed, and terrible things have been done to them. But the official talk in the newspapers sort of comes from the aggressors, and it's this kind of a how would I say? It's like softening. Rape's not rape. It's called non-consensual intercourse or non-consensual sex. So it's like, okay, well, that doesn't sound that bad, and like and then there's like this really strange blurring of boundaries that, you know, it's like, you know, what's the difference now between flirting and harassment? Like, you know, people wouldn't know the difference. So there's this like, I mean, I think that's almost like the person who's been accused of raping somebody talking, that he's trying to minimize the kind of, you know, the truth and like make the horrible things disappear. And it's happening all over the place in society. I mean, you know, politics is the more cruel the politics is, the more they're using words that make it sound more beautiful and nice, and the military, you know, invasion is not. It's not called invasion or occupation. It's like liberation, and so there's this whole idea. There's another panel that I'm supposed to talk in today. I am going to, but I think it's about like the spreading of right-wing populism in Europe, and a big part of it is like this radicalization of the right wing and the neo-Nazis and white supremacy and so on, and in that discussion there's also this, which is I think it's really kind of about this sentence too, that we, how would I say, liberal, moderate, leftist, white people, we kind of, it's easy for us to blame the white supremacists and the Nazis for doing all the bad stuff and sort of get relieved ourselves, and we don't have to take part. We're not that, we're not racists. But in the end, it's actually us who we're enabling the system. We're not intervening in it. We're actually practicing it in subconscious or conscious ways. And it's kind of that we don't want to hear about. We're sort of externalize all the evil out of us. And okay, but I can go on and on with where this particular sentence has led to me, and there's probably a list of 20 different artworks that it has sort of given inspiration to, and they could all be named that exact sentence. And so it's kind of this, how would I say it in the end, that maybe if anybody knows what I've done, it's like there's a lot of stuff that looks the same, and especially if you look at the years, if it's like the last year stuff looks like stuff that I've done this year, but it's like this sort of evolution that really slowly changes it, so it's like everything looks a little bit the same as the previous ones, but when you look at it from 5 years apart, then there's a big difference. I hope I haven't used the 7 minutes. Maybe there's time for a question. No? Yes.
The exhibition will be where?
Oh, it's a gallery, Zetterberg. It's opening in Ludwigkatu. I can't remember the address now because it's the first exhibition and the invitations haven't gone out yet, and I don't even know if we've set the date yet. But anyway, thank you. Oh, yeah.
I was wondering how intentional you were in using the global brands, the logos in the words.
In this particular one?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been doing it a lot, so I do it pretty intentionally. Of course, you know, when I use it in this context, it kind of talks about capitalism or these particular companies. But I don't know, I've sort of used them so much that I've become blind to them. So it's not necessarily the only meaning for me. They're sort of fonts personally to me, and they're talking about lots of other things too. But also, I think like this problematic system that we have called capitalism is the root of most of our problems. So yeah, I'm pretty specific about it, but not in the way that I'm pointing out at like Dole or Disney or YouTube or any like other, like, I mean, the truth is it's tricks, so it's like cereal brand for kids, so I don't know what the truth there is. So it's not like really kind of literally chosen at least to portray the sentence. But yeah, I'm pretty aware of which brands I'm using. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jani. Bumping into borders and breaking rules was something that Rita also mentioned. Now we have our third artist testimony, Jérôme Ozero, and he's a photographer, a French photographer living here and working here in Finland. Please.
Good evening. Thank you. So yes, I'm French. So sorry about that. I was teacher in several universities in Paris and in art school. And since a few years, I'm based now in Kotka, in Finland. I don't know if I do this. Yes? Okay. And so I push my luck trying to be a landscape and cityscape photographer. So for this evening, I did prepare a little something for you. I was asked to make a new presentation.
Probably not at the right place when it comes to speak about imagination. I'm mostly a landscape photographer, cityscape photographer, and I will speak from this perspective. So my words won't reflect the work of a pure storyteller who scripts, prepares and directs models in controlled environment. Writing with light, what is etymologically the meaning of the word photography, doesn't require much of imagination. Unlike the painter, for example, who lets his creation arise on a generally virgin surface according to his fantasy and with almost total freedom, the photographer only captures the moment, and often he even captures only a fragment of this moment. One could agree on the idea that a photographer, according to his taste and talent, will reflect the productions of the imagination of nature in a large sense, and with more or less fortune. If there is a power between the hands of the photographer, this is a technical power over the density of the reality he plans to capture the evidences. As an example, I would like to go to this prepared landscape photography I did Google for you. There is plenty of absolutely beautiful scene that I think most of people could get back with if they were in capacity to go on location. As another example, I did prepare this about Antelope Canyon in the National Park of the USA because it's probably one of the most famous places photographed by everybody who can go visit this place. And you can see that obviously you have a lot of pictures that can be easily edited like this one or this one. But this one, for example, or this, even this picture, you can see that you can bring amazing shots with no specific gear like a tourist could do. It would be tempting to pretend that the imagination is simply transferred to the decision of the photographer in his choices but framing his subject. This would be partly right in a time where everybody become photographer with the camera on board every modern smartphone. The production of images never was so huge, and you just got some examples. It's now possible to find billions of pictures from the most famous subjects, shot under every possible angle. It seems, however, the technical possibilities mixed to the quantity doesn't stimulate nor reflect in any kind of imagination. The decisive moment, according to Cartier-Bresson, will never be the result of his imagination, but his ability to see and to catch at the right time as a privileged witness. This is more about anticipation than imagination, and the magnificence of a majestic landscape reported by some photo celebrity depend much more on a financial means to go on location with the appropriate gear than a real imagination. So the reason why I choose to call this short presentation Seeing the Unseen is because I would like to show you the way I think about the photography I tend to create. And it's all about details actually. I think that you need to change your point of view and your perspective if you want to create something unusual and spectacular. And it doesn't require to go on very beautiful places or famous or unreachable for most of people. You can really change the way you watch your surrounding. And I will make an example that I did created especially for this presentation. I went to this museum in Helsinki, this Kiasma museum, and I was wondering what I could do to express and to demonstrate what I'm speaking about. And notably, I had in mind this maybe crazy idea to try to, of course, not replicate what we can see for canyon in the USA, but just to show how you can approach, in my test at least, result by changing your point of view, trying to see the unseen. So I would like just to start to show you pictures that you can see at the Institute right now, because I have this exhibition running until the end of March. And you can see this Kiasma Museum, seeing from my perspective. So obviously this is kind of maybe different from what you can expect, but when I wanted to shoot this building, I'm not going just like most of people in front and taking some shots and come back with them. So maybe it's not easy to recognize, but this is the Kiasma Museum. This is another view from inside. It's a picture I shot for this presentation just to illustrate how I proceed, because of course it's not that much realistic, even if probably everybody can recognize. But I want to go directly to the right example because the time is counted, and just to go to this stair that I really like in this museum. Of course this is a very wide angle shot, and it doesn't respect the proportion designed by the architect. But this is the kind of picture you could probably get back with you. This is not the kind of picture I will do except for a magazine or in a real estate project, for example. But if I had to shoot this stair that I really like for my own project, I will probably start to move around the stair until I find something that it's not that usual to see. And I would probably start by this, that maybe if you are interested in architecture is typically the kind of picture amateur really enjoy to watch. But still, I'm not far enough in my project. Doing this, I will not be completely satisfied. I could probably try something different. This is the shot right from the camera, just a conversion, a rendering from the raw file to JPEG. And as you can see, it starts to become more interesting because it's not what you see when you are on the location. Of course, you see the building, you see the walls, you see the stairs, but probably no one will notice this. And starting from this view, I will probably make my editing to find a final result like this one on the right on the screen. So I will boost probably the contrast of the color and try to negate some of the surface aspect. And just by moving myself around these stairs, I will find, to my taste, actually most of people prefer the one you are watching now, but this is not the one I wanted to do. The one I would like probably exhibit, for example, will be this picture. It's the exact same stairs. I just change my point of view to create a different perspective and different shape, different communication between light and shadows and the contrast in the colors. So as you can see, we are much more close to what we saw about this Antelope Canyon, for example. And I did not need to go in this prestigious place that is probably a costly destination to reach. But just by trying and practicing with your eyes to see what people mostly never see, you can probably start to create a beautiful view. So if as a landscape or cityscape photographer I can speak about imagination, it's probably not in the view I'm shooting because I did nothing. An architect made the design and the workers built this place. But I change my point of view to make possible for everyone to see, but probably no one else can see because we are all different. So my imagination is more in my eye than anything else, I guess.
And voila. It's okay. Finally, I did not need to come. I'm sorry because, of course, the color is not exactly what it should be with the projection, but I hope it gives an idea of what I try to explain. Maybe. No, so we can go.
Thank you very much, Jerome, for your presentation. You found the canyon in Helsinki. So, but that has something to do with traveling, and traveling as a source of creativity for an artist. And Eero Nelimarkka, our fourth artist tonight, is exhibited here at HAM and in the film that you'll see also through the eyes of France and Paris, because traveling was something that he did in his 20s, and that was a very important time for him. And when you go see the exhibition after seeing the film, you'll see what a huge influence travel and Paris was for him coming from Finland. But a lot of artists were there, but also Finns. And in our next exhibition here at HAM, in the same space where Eero Nelimarkka is exhibited, we'll be showing how the Finns saw Paris as a very colorful city. And I've heard from French colleagues that they feel that Paris is quite a grey and brown city, but when Finns traveled there, they saw the light and the colors, as did Eero Nelimarkka. But Riitta, would you like to say a few words about the film before we start to screen it? And after that, you'll have an opportunity to ask a few questions more from the artists.
Thank you. I wanted to do this film because I felt very grateful for my grandfather. I knew him during 30 years, and though I was a small girl and he was a 70, 80 years old guy, so I felt some kind of synergy, some kind of, we were friends. At the end we were like friends and even colleagues. He was quite a patriotic, and so I was a girl and not. He didn't believe in me in the first beginning. Okay, the main point of this film maybe or is that he wasn't very rural at all, as in Finland people used to think. But as Maija said, he was a traveler and cosmopolite in a way, and he started that career at the age of 18, 19, actually in 17. At 17, when he went to Lübeck first and then to Paris, and he traveled to Paris several times. Actually, all his life he went to Paris regularly. And one point more, as they say, Chopin, he was Polish, but he also, they say he was French. That's a battle, okay, but. They say that he used French picture, French attitude, but he adapted that, and at the end of his music is Polish. It's more Polish with the French accent, French love for French culture. And I would say the same about my grandfather, that he loved. He was young. He was just enthusiastic about French way to live and to see the world and to paint, to see the colors, and he adapted that and he used all that arsenal he received there, he experienced there in his artworks whole his life. Yes, I hope you like the film. It's a kind of, I say it's my grandfather in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you, Riitta. Now we can screen the film.
Eero Nelimarkka oli kekseliäs, tuottelias ja kunnianhimoinen. Hän oli värikäs, rohkea ja herkkä. Yliherkkäkin hän oli. Vakava ja aidosti uskonnollinen, ei kuitenkaan tosikko eikä tekopyhä. Hän oli sekä innokas isänmaan ystävä että aikansa kosmopoliitti. yltiö itsenäinen, vaikkakin itsekriittinen, hieman itsekeskeinen, mutta generöösi. Persoona, joka ei aina ollut läheisille aivan helppo. Hän oli aurinkoinen boheemi, mutta porvarillisia arvoja ihannoiva. Elämäntavoissaan hän oli kohtuullinen ja tarkka, kuitenkin eräänlainen taiteilijahybridi, yhdistelmä hengellisestä askeettisuudesta ja maallisesta runsaudesta. Itse hän joskus moitti itseään ahneeksi. Eero syntyi Vaasassa 1891. Isä oli räätäli ja toisinajattelija, joka väärin ymmärrettynä kuoli Vaasan köyhäintalossa, jättäen vastasyntyneelle Eerolle perinnöksi vain huomattavan motivaation menestyä elämässä. Eero sai jo nuorena sokerileipurin kisällin paperit, ja 15 vuoden ikäisenä hän stipendin turvin matkusti Tukholmaan ja sitten Lübeckiin jatko-opintoihin. Mutta nousujohteinen kondiittorin ura sai jäädä, ja Akseli Galleen Kallelan kannustuksesta lahjakas nuori mies matkusti pienen kapsekkinsa kerran vuonna 1912 Pariisiin, kuten tienraivaaja kollegansa jo ennen häntä Albert Edelfeltistä Ville Wahlgreeniin olivat suunnanneet kohti kiehtovaa Eurooppaa. Taiteilijatalo Ryschessä hän työskenteli yhtä aikaa Amadeo Modiglianin kanssa. Atelier sijaitsi ylimmässä kerroksessa ja sen katosta puuttui puolet. Elämän iloisesta Pariisista palattuaan hän pääsi onnekkaasti Eero Järnefeltin oppilaaksi Helsingin yliopiston piirustussaliin. Nelimarkkaa on usein pidetty perisuomalaisena Pohjanmaan kuvaajana. Kuitenkin hän omaksui lähes täydellisesti 1900-luvun alun ranskalaisen impressionismin ja loi oman suvereenin visionsa Pohjanmaan lakeuksista. Pariisin keskelle peltoa. Pariisin vaikutus hänen työskentelyssään jatkuikin läpi vilkkaan elämän. Akselilla Helsinki, Pariisi, Alajärvi, Rooma, Tel Aviv, Minnesota, Tukholma, Milano, Venetsia, Pariisi, Alajärvi. Missä Eero kulloinkin vaikutti, tyyli ja ote säilyi omintakeisena ja tunnistettavana. Nelimarkasta kuoriutuikin pikemmin hattupäinen kaupunkilainen kuin lippalakkinen maalaispoika. Kissan rusetteineen, kultakelloineen ja hän oli aito dandy, pukeutumisesta ja muodista nauttiva keikari ja esteetikko, kuten useat muutkin ranskalaisvaikutteita saaneet suomalaiset taiteilijat, säveltäjät ja kirjailijat. Vasta avioiduttuaan alahärmäläisen talollisen tyttären Saima-Sofia Alaviitalan kanssa nuori sulho alkoi kiinnostua maaseudusta. Ei suinkaan lankkumaalein maalaten, vaan vaimon sukulaisten järkytykseksi ranskalaisin öljyvärein. Härmästä löytämäänsä maalaiskulttuuria hän kuvasi aina nöyrin mielin ja liikuttavan kauniisti, ihmistä kunnioittaen. Tältä ajalta ovat peräisin karakteristiset laatukuvat ryhdikkäistä talonpojista ja heidän vakavista lapsistaan. Maalaukset salaperäisistä takannurkista sekä vaiteliaista ikkunaverhoista, jotka meditoivat kanvaasilla kuin yhä tuoksuen savulle ja pesutuvalle. Intiimeissä teoksissa sulautuvat yhteen harmonia, leikkimielisyys ja odottamaton näkökulma. Maalaus punaisista aamutohveleista on vekkulimaisen anarkistinen, eroottinenkin. Tuntemattoman muotokuvassa kaula venyy itsetietoisesti kohti huoneen kattoa. Poikaa lepikossa on ilmiselvästi pistänyt harmillinen ampiainen. Etenkin 1920-luvun teoksissa siveltimen jäljessä voi nähdä Cézannen hallitun suurpiirteisyyden. Lähes maaniseen työskentelyyn Eeroa provosoi kenties halu näyttää sukulaisille menestyvänsä. Ja siten korvata äidille tämän kärsimys isän Alajärvellä sijaitsevaan synnyinkotiin liittyvissä perintökiistoissa. Ahkeruuden taustalla kuultaa kolhitun lapsen tarve lievään kostoon ja oikeuden lunastukseen. Äidin muotokuva onkin lyyrisen harras. Raikkaita ovat myös potretit Saimasta, joka maalaustelineen tuolla puolen hoiti jälkikasvun, sillä aikaa kun tuleva professori loihti kankaalle kedonkeveitä kuvia lapsistaan, herkkiä pastellisävyisiä töitä, joissa pensselin jälki on pelkistettyä ja luonnostelevaa, mutta varmaa. Eerolla oli poikkeuksellisen runsaasti energiaa. Hän piirsi ja maalasi, alinomaan, voisi sanoa päämäärätietoisesti touhusi. Hän kirjoitti tuhansia kirjeitä perheelle, ystäville, vaikuttajille, presidentille. Hän auttoi lapsiaan, tovereitaan ja sukulaisiaan, sodan aikana ahdinkoon joutuneita, monia kaidalle tielle ajautuneita, toisia taiteilijoita ikään ja säätyyn katsomatta. Taiteilija arvosti kauniita esineitä ja ympäristöjä. Hän kolusi antiikki- ja huutokauppoja, sisusti, kokkasi, rakensi pytinkejä, muun muassa omaa nimeään kantavan museon Nelimarkka akatemioineen. Vuonna 1945 hän perusti kuvataiteita tukevan Nelimarkka-rahastosäätiön. Hän oli intohimoisen vakuuttunut taiteen tukemisen välttämättömyydestä sekä sen taidekasvatuksen merkityksestä. Arkkitehti Hilding Ekelundin piirtämästä italialaisvaikutteisesta Nelimarkka-museosta muodostui pitkän uran viimeinen suuri kokonaistaideteos. Jahka, sinä teet riitingit, minä teen museon. Seinien noustessa Alajärven Pekkolaan, taustanaan eteläpohjalainen Sahara, Eero huvitteli sanomalla, että hän maalaa seteleitä rahoittaakseen museon rakennustyöt, niin kuin asia itse asiassa olikin. Nelimarkka oli kuvataiteen ohella vannoutunut musiikin ja runouden ystävä sekä tunnollinen raamatun lukija, mikä ärsytti hänen aatteista vapaata modernistista jälkipolveaan. Eeroa ei myöskään koskaan sinuteltu, vaan aina ukiteltiin tai teititeltiin. Nelimarkka oli ajan tavan mukaan jokseenkin sovinistinen ja miehen reviiriään arvostava. Naisella pitää olla pitkät hiukset. Mutta hän ihaili itsenäisiä, uran luoneita naisia. Naisia ylipäätään. Naiskauneutta, eikä ehkä yksinomaan kristillisestä näkökulmasta. Vaimolla Saimalla oli ripaus romaaniverta sekä omapäinen luonne. Ellen Teslefin ja Helen Scherfbeckin eteeriset teokset olivat selvästi tehneet häneen syvän vaikutuksen. Professori Aune Lindström oli hyvä ystävä ja tuki, ja Eeron sanojen mukaan Nelimarkka-museon muusa. Nelimarkka oli kotoisin taloudellisesti vaatimattomista oloista, kuten moni taiteilija silloisessa Suomessa. Tällä seikalla hän saattoi kerskuakin. Toinen inhimillinen piirre oli itsensä moitiskelu, mikä tutussa piirissä tulkittiin itse tehostukseksi. Yhtä kaikki, vaikka hänen vakavan hilpeä luonteensa laskun aihe, oli professori aina lämpimän ihailun ja arvostuksen kohde. Kaikessahan ei voi olla priimus, vielä vähemmän pyhimys, ja taiteilijalla on tietty oikeus egocentrisyyteensä, miltei velvollisuus olla sitä pelottomasti, meidän muidenkin puolesta. Vuonna 1977 tammikuun 27. päivänä Eero Nelimarkka nukahtaa kodissaan Töölönkatu 12, eikä nouse aamulla jatkamaan keskeneräistä maalaustaan. Hänen omaleimainen tuotantonsa nostaa esiin paradoksin. Sen, että radikaali konservatiivisuus taiteessa saattaa kestää aikaa usein paremmin kuin radikaalisuus yksin, tai pelkkä tiukka konservatismi. Se uudistaa myös sen havainnon, että herkkyys, vilpittömyys ja kauneus taiteessa eivät kuole, eivätkä lakastu koskaan. Professori Eero Nelimarkka onkin hieno klassikko, joka on eittämättä lunastanut asemansa suomalaisen 1900-luvun maalaustaiteessa.
And that was a portrait of Eero Nelimarkka. And now you have an opportunity to join a guided tour. It will be in Finnish. Yeah. And if there are any questions for the artist before that, why don't you all come up and sit here in the front? Riitta. Yes. And I will give you the mic.
Yes, actually, I have one. One for Rita, perhaps first, is just related to the amazing art piece you brought for the occasion. Just if you can say a few words on the on that specific work, and also perhaps for the three of you, is there like when you are doing your artwork, before doing an artwork, do you have some kind of emergency? What urged you to work on your artwork?
Yes, I just forgot the whole the work. I'm sorry. A few words. It's a part. It's a piece of a quite long series preludes which I made for Claude Debussy. 5 preludes and to Radio Symphony Orchestra played this music and there were 3 screens for these pictures. They are some of them you saw on the screen behind me when I was making my performance before earlier today. Okay, for me this is actually the background is that the creators, fauns or girl children. The origin of these children are the sketches which I made about my youngest son, Max, who is a writer, thrillerist nowadays, far from this. Okay, and then I used these old sketches and made paintings, and then there are plenty of these. I have several levels, different kind of materials. I have been voting, and then it's a combination, a hybrid of all those. And I can't. I'm very bad to speak about my own works. They are behind me. I'm sorry. I've left them. I have left them. Okay, thanks.
What was the question?
What urged you about doing that? How does it start? What urged you? What is the emergency? Is there an emergency when you are like starting a specific work?
I don't know. Because the exact point of it starting is really difficult to define. Sometimes it's like evident. You read the news and there's something stupid there. Most of my artwork comes from like that I'm just pissed off about stuff that's happening, and maybe I want to take another angle to it. make myself feel better and hopefully, you know, also others. And but I don't know. But there's like tens of different ways that things come about, and as I said previously, that it's sort of a continuum too. But I really like the stuff that you said about taking a different angle, because I'm using a really familiar images from pop culture, so I'm trying to place them in a like a weird context or surprising context, so they would, you know, be seen differently from the, because they're repeated so many times in this like nice and happy pappy context, which has no sort of critical view or sadness or nausea is totally outside of that world. So I'm sort of trying to maybe take those images to a different kind of world, which is maybe hopefully a little bit more critical.
I could share most of what have been said just now. For my case, I could have had that most of the time I don't think about what I'm doing. I think all those, for me, art is about beauty. So for all these beauty things are all around us. You just have to open your eyes. But we are like sensors, so we need appropriate time to see the appropriate things. So you can, for example, when I did picture the area of was really strange during the opening, because a lot of residents came there, and this place is supposed to be ugly for everybody. And those old persons who spent most of their life working there or living there started to say to me like this, but I did not realize that I was living in so beautiful place. It's just a matter of the way you watch what is around you. So I'm an emotional person. I have no rules. I just follow my intuition and my feelings.
It can also happen so that you get a commission work, or somebody wants an exhibition from you, and that's not too bad either. It's a very different case, because then you are not alone. And for instance, I had to. They asked me to make pictures about horses and the horse ball and that stuff. I had never seen horse ball anywhere in the world in my life. And also there should have been cars. I had never drawn cars properly. So I actually, this happened 210, and I was quite enthusiastic to try something which was quite far from me, and then it had to be black and white, and I had always used colors. So this is one way, and so on. Everything was different. And this happened in near Davos, in Klosters in Switzerland. And after that, I was so keen on black and white, and for 2 years I made it with black and white, because I felt this is, I can leave all the extra. I can concentrate, for instance, okay, how to do it, what's the, you know, the pencil, the anyway, brush, the brush does without you can do anything after that. So simple. I love to simplify everything. So this is also this was one project. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita, Jerome, and Gianni, for this. I think we'll all take away with us this looking from a different perspective, from a different point of view, seeing the unseen tonight, at least. Maybe in the morning we'll wake up to that also. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, the artists.